mate. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you? It's working now. I can see you a second ago, but wasn't getting any sound. Maybe just shut some of this stuff down. Hang on. That can go. Otherwise, it'll start bleeping and stuff in the background, and that won't be.
Yeah,
That won't be.
I get bloody Facebook messages pop up and all that every time I interview. So
That's exactly what I'm shutting down at the moment. So I'm just making sure all my other apps are closed so that there's not loads of.
so how's things anyway with yourself and the rest of the guys?
Oh, we're all right. Hopefully, we should start rehearsing again. I think in a couple of weeks, because Dan's getting his jab. I think it's next week, and his parents are kind of on the vulnerable list. So and Joey's got his girlfriend's parents there in a similar position. So we thought, we'll knock rehearsal on the head and kind of. Just do stuff remotely, which is what we've been doing. So it'd be good to get back in the room again. Do you know what I mean? Do it properly rather than kind of sending recordings and files around, which is it's not great, but it is what it is, I suppose.
The last time we chatted, you were just released Supernaturalization.
Yeah.
And how's it been? Has it been difficult to try and promote the album? Because of COVID and unable to tour?
Well, yeah, the whole tour thing that got screwed over. So I think we did about 3 dates, I think, of the actual tour. Of course, we marketed the hell out of the tour, and we had to, obviously don't get the marketing money back. We had to refund all the tickets, and really, I think we started off cancelling like 3 or 4 days, because when we first went into lockdown, it was like, oh, this is going to last 2 weeks. I'm going to review it in 2 weeks. And here we are like a year later, and we're still not back. So yeah, we started off actually sort of thinking, oh, maybe we'll get these dates. And we were still saying to some venues, oh, yeah, the venue's a month away. We'll still be playing then. And of course, as time went on, it became apparent that, that wasn't going to happen. So it was...
It
was difficult.
My very last concert was Louise Redknapp, and I was meeting her, and it was such an awkward situation because it was literally, I think it was the Wednesday the concert was in Cardiff, and on the Friday they went into full lockdown, and I remember going in. She was going, right, do we hug? Do we fist bump? And it was such an awkward situation. You're like, all right, trying to get close, and then you're thinking, oh God, am I risking something and all that?
One of the last gigs that we did it wasn't the last one, I think it was the penultimate gig in Oxford. And we had Black Tree Vultures supporting us. They'd also supported us on our launch party down in London. And almost immediately after that, loads of people got ill. In fact, Kellen, the singer from Black Tree Vultures, he couldn't make the next gig, so they pulled the next gig. I think it was in Stoke, I think. But there was more tickets sold than people actually showed up, and I think it was at that point that that Boris was kind of going, oh. He wasn't saying nobody could go down the pub, but he was like saying you probably shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like a ban, but like loads of people just weren't going down the pub. So people obviously were worried about it, and they weren't showing up. And then I think it was like a week later they kind of locked everything down, and everything else is history. So yeah,
it's well, at that same time, Stereophonics were playing in Wales, and there was such a huge uproar after they went into lockdown. So like, this gig shouldn't have gone ahead and all this business, and they played to thousands of people, and are we responsible? And I'm thinking, God, I've just been to a bloody Louise Redknapp concert, the photographer, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
I think it's like right at the start, I think there was like a bit of it's only just kind of like bad flu, and as long as you're not as long as you're healthy and you're not old or whatever, you'd be all right. And I think for quite a lot of people, if you were fairly young, and I mean, at the time I wasn't worried. I still was shaking hands. I didn't give a toss.
Yeah.
My missus had it, although she didn't know at the time, because the whole symptoms of losing your taste and smell wasn't officially a symptom at the time.
Yeah.
It was only like a couple of months later that they said that was definitely a symptom. And I think a few months later, she did one of those antibody tests and she got the antibodies for it. So, I mean, I didn't do one, but chances are if she had it, the rest of us in this house probably had it as well. Who knows? But I kind of wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't really. It was more annoying at the start, and then it cut as lots of people started dying, and you thought, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Well, Boris didn't help, because all he kept saying was he was coming out going, just wash your hands and
I know.
Sing happy birthday while you're washing your hands. And I was thinking, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, all these people are dying. And you're thinking, Jesus, he was just telling me to wash my hands and I'd be okay, like.
I know. It's I think it is kind of annoying that had we been locked down earlier, like the medical people were telling the government to do, we might not have been hit so bad. I mean, we should have had it easy, really, shouldn't we? Because we're on an island, so it should have been easy to stop everyone coming in and out. We could have done what places like New Zealand did, and Taiwan. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere that was an island had it easy, apart from us.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it was that it was. They said it was originated in China, but all these planes were coming from China with everyone saying, "Oh, we're going back home. We're going back to the UK." So they were letting all these bloody planes land from China. Then they went over there where bloody went all nuts, and all you had was bloody Boris Johnson going, "Yeah, wash your hands and sing happy birthday, and you'll be okay." So, so anyway, you recently released She Said. It's was it a new mixture? Was it
so we had Romesh Dodangoda. He mixed our previous single, which was our second single. So right when we, as you probably remember, when we released Supernaturalation, we also released She Said, which was probably, I think it was released from memory. It seems like so long ago now. We released She Said originally as the single, and then it was not long. I think we released that in January, if memory serves correctly, something like that. Anyway, and then the EP was released in, I think it was around at the beginning of March. I think it's 6th of March, or something like that, last year. And that was fine. That all went down a storm. We were building up to the tour and blah blah blah. And then, as we thought we might come out of lockdown, around, I think it was around October last year, we released the second single, kind of hoping that something would happen. Obviously, to hindsight and everything, it didn't. But we got Romesh Dodangoda to mix it, just because we thought we felt like it needed a bit of, what's the word? It wasn't like the mix or the production was bad or anything. I mean, I was cock a hoop about the EP production, but for radio, if you're releasing a single, there is an argument that radios like stuff that's mixed loud, and we thought that maybe if we could get it mixed closer to how we sound live, because that was one of the comments we had from sort of fans that have been with us sort of locally from the start, is that they were surprised at the production of the second EP because it wasn't as heavy as we sound live. And I was kind of cool with that, because I thought it was a little bit of a different sound. It still had the edge to it, but we thought, well, we'll get him to do that, and so that came out, and then, with the whole lockdown sort of carrying on, and there was a lot in the press around mental health and the rest of it. It seemed, me and Dan and Joey were kind of talking, and it seemed like an obvious thing to do, to get Romesh to mix She Said again. Because if you were going to pick any of the songs and release it as like a charity single, that was the one that was the obvious candidate. It was just, not unfortunate, but it was just, that we'd released it before. Had we been able to see into the future, we'd have gone, right, let's release that in a year's time as a charity single, because it was kind of, it's one of those things. It was obvious. It was the obvious thing to do. The writing was on the wall. Yeah, that should be released as a charity single. And we kind of got lucky with Off Your Rocker, because they've agreed to pass all of the royalties on. So record companies normally keep their cut. So basically, if you stream or download the single or anything, 100% of the proceeds from that single are going to charity, which I was quite pleased with, because normally you don't get that. You normally can't persuade a record company to forego their share of it. So that was that was a bonus. And so it just seemed like the obvious thing to do. And so we thought, well, we can't really just you can't really just re-release a single again. And so we got Romesh to mix it again. And it seems like it was the right thinking and the right thing to do, because the remix version, the Romesh version, that's been played all over the place. As you probably know, we're on the main playlist of Planet Rock, for the first 2 weeks that it was on, I just kept missing it all the time. I was getting text messages from people whilst I wasn't anywhere near a radio, But yeah, it's been good, because hopefully it'll raise a lot of money for the charity. And the guys at Mind, they got behind us as well, which was good, because you don't always, as a band, you don't always get the backing from a charity. Mind are a big charity. Do you know what I mean? So that was cool that they were backing it as well. And then the BBC heard about it, and we got interviewed by them as well. So it's been good. I'm just hoping we raise enough for it, because as it turns out, it's actually harder to raise money for charity than it is to sell merch. So people seem to be more willing to go and buy an album or a T-shirt or something than put their hand in the pocket and just spend some money on some merchandise, which is what we're trying to sort of encourage people. Look, even if you just spend £1 to just download the thing. The streaming from Spotify, it's kind of peanuts. I think I worked it out recently off one when I got you get the royalty reports through. Per 1,000 streams, it was working out roughly, give or take, about £25 per 1,000 streams, which is
it's a lot of streams for very little. I know all about the situation with charities, because last week I slept rough in Cardiff to raise awareness for homeless veterans. And they're trying to hit my target, and it's only a very small target. And you're asking people to just give a very little amount, but in this day and age with COVID and people, it's so
it's a bit of a double whammy, isn't it? Because the charities need charities more than ever for various things like homelessness and mental health and all the things that kind of crop up because of the lockdown. And at the same time, those charities haven't got the funds to offer the services that they were always offering. So it's been hit on both ends. And you're right. We've raised some. There's sort of pots of money that we've raised dotted all over the place. Because when you raise it on Facebook, that's one pot for that post, and there's another. So if you add them all up, I think we're without ignoring the royalties and the sales of the actual single itself, I think we're only on like £400, something like that. And I'd set up the Just Giving page expecting, within the first month to easily raise £1,000. I thought, well, based on how often people stream stuff and they download stuff and they put, if it's only £1, easy. That's easy to get 1,000 people to do that. No, fat chance. Lots of people share it and do that sort of thing. But yeah, it is quite hard. I spoke to the people at Mind, the lady that we talked to, and she was like, yeah, it's really hard, especially on social media. If you can get out there and do something, if we were doing a gig or something like that, it's a lot easier to raise the money. But apparently, as we've now found out, raising money on social media is really hard.
It is quite a strange situation, because you think, like, on one of my Facebook, I've got like 3,500, and I just think, God, if all of them just donated £1.
That's what I was thinking as well. I thought,
and you just think, right, well, what's a pound like? And I raised 200 quid. I raised £200, and I was like, God, and that was hard work to try and get to that. But I just thought, good God, and that's just one Facebook page. I was like, God, I thought, oh yeah, I could sleep in rough in Cardiff with just a big jacket on, and just to highlight how hard it is.
Was that for a whole week you did that, was it?
No, it was just for the one night. It was
right.
to highlight that it was for the Royal British Legion Industries.
Yeah.
And it was to like raise awareness and some funds for homeless veterans, being myself and all that, not being homeless, but being a veteran. And I thought, well, I could really, and the amount of people which turned around and said, oh, well done, what you've done is fantastic. And I'm thinking, you're saying that, but £4 in.
I kind of think the same, but you can't. The thing is, at the same time, maybe some people literally haven't even got the pound. Do you know what I mean? It's you can't really. It's kind of. I wouldn't say it's annoying. It's kind of disappointing, because I thought that, oh, well, grand, that's quite low. I'll blast through that, but if you've got, when you're setting up on the Just Giving, it's like set a target. I thought, well, that's fairly mediocre. I was actually thinking that some people might think I was underestimating it and being a bit pessimistic by putting that in. But yeah, what did I know? It's literally the first time I've ever done any sort of charity fundraising other than sponsored runs at school. That doesn't really count, does it?
I got more just before Christmas. I did it was a 10-mile hike to raise money for the walking wounded veterans. And I got more money there than I did from sleeping on a bench. And I was like, God, it's only 10 miles. And I was thinking, God, I should double this by sleeping. But
I think people that raise money by doing kind of like activities, like if you were doing something like, I don't know, there was a friend of mine did a ride from Land's End to John O'Groats over, I think it took him like a week to do or something like that. And of course whilst he was doing it, he was constantly posting updates on social media. And so people were kind of seeing it and seeing the progress. And I think that constant interaction was helped with fundraising, but releasing a single, maybe there's not quite the same interaction. People listen to the song and they like that. And I suppose if they stick the song on stream and put it on repeat all night and mute the phone, then maybe that's the other way. But it's been tough to. I really didn't think it would be that tough to raise money for a charity. I thought it'd be this would be easy, and
I think you would have probably got more money. The problem is like you say with Spotify, with 1,000 listens for having a small amount, it's you're in a strange situation where you think, should I go down the likes of having a physical CD or a record where people can purchase that and percentage go to it. But when it goes to things like Spotify, all they're interested in is what they can make, and they're making millions when everyone else is struggling.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard to know what to do, isn't it? And I'd never done it before, and we I think we all thought it was going to be a doddle, really, and it's turned out not to be. But like you say, CDs and stuff. Why would you stick one track on a CD when for the same size CD you could have 5 or 10 tracks on it? You know, to manufacture a CD, no matter how many tracks on it, costs the same. You know, it's a difficult one. I don't relish people that volunteer and work for the charities because it must be really hard and kind of dispiriting, I suppose. But
definitely. Apart from the single release, as in, what else has been keeping you busy over the last 12 months through the lockdown?
Not very much, really. I mean, we did before this last lockdown. We did still carry on rehearsing because we kind of we isolated in our own sort of bubble, and because we can legitimately turn around to anyone that asks and say, yeah, look, this is a professional band, we make money, and the rehearsal studios that we use, they opened up just for professional bands. So if you were and if you're doing it as a hobby sort of thing, then they wouldn't open up for those guys, which was kind of cool because the place was really empty. Normally it's rammed in there. It's really hard to get bookings. So that was all right. It was just as things kind of got worse, and then we went into another lockdown. It got shut up again. But what we were doing was just rehearsing and writing for the album, and that's continued. Without us being in the same room, and just going through and really just kind of picking the tracks that we're going to keep, because we need to whittle it down to 10 for the album. And there definitely isn't any filler on there because we're just taking stuff out. There's more than enough material, and some tracks have kind of been whittled out. We used to play them live, and then other tracks came in and we thought, we don't like that one anymore, or it's not as good. So hopefully with any luck, the album will be full of 10 tracks that are all, tracks that we all love and hope that everyone else loves as well. Just because we've kind of squashed it down and cast everything else aside. And that's what we're kind of doing at the moment. There's been a couple of tracks that needed a little bit of rearranging. We maybe thought that there was one track where the chorus wasn't very strong. It sounded really cool in the room on the day, but what we have in the band with this, what we call our "Would You Buy It" rule, where we record the rehearsal where the song first sort of comes together. And then it'll get fired around from whoever records. No, it's on my iPhone, and I'll sort of WhatsApp it to the other two. Then we'll listen to it the next day once you've sort of calmed down and you're not on the buzz from the rehearsal, and just have a listen to it. And the reason we call it "Would You Buy It" is that if it was a track and you heard it was from some other band and wasn't your own tracks, you try and be a little bit objective. The question is, if you heard that on the radio, would you buy it? That's that's why we call it that. And unless everyone says unanimously yes they would, then we throw it away. Sometimes we don't always throw it away. Sometimes it's like, but it's good, but that bit there isn't any good, and so maybe we'll rewrite part of it. So one of the tracks we were working on recently, we rewrote the chorus completely. And it's just been that sort of stuff that's been going on at the moment, and hopefully in a week or two we'll get back in and carry that on. So the current aim is to go into the studio around the end of May, early June, and I from experience, although the recording and the production and everything will probably be finished long before then, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the record company turned around and said, we're going to release it around January 2022, January or maybe February at latest. Just because they kind of want to release it when there's not much else going on. just for coverage reasons, I think. I mean, if we were a big major band, if we were an Aerosmith or something like that, then yeah, you'd release it whenever you wanted to. It wouldn't matter because but we're not. So we're going to get. It would probably be the record company will probably sit on it, I would imagine, from whenever we finish it in, July, August time. It'll probably be sat on for a few months. There'll probably be a single or two come out before then. But that's currently what we're working on at the moment. And I think we've just had a gig confirmed in July down in Islington in London, but they're kind of sporadically coming back on. So there'll be a few dates dotted around. But I think when the government is still saying don't book any foreign holidays, I kind of look even at bookings in July with a little bit of skepticism. Do you know what I mean? So who knows whether that will go ahead even. You don't really want to go and say to your booking agent, look, book us the whole tour, because I don't want to be in the same situation as before, because, once you've paid for marketing the thing and selling tickets and then it's all cancelled again, it's not funny. So that's the plan. Is we're working on the album at the moment. And who knows, there may be more because of the excess writing that goes on. There may be more material that comes out as either a second album or another EP or extra bonus material. We don't really know what to do with all the extra stuff at the moment. So we'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it.
With many bands at the moment doing like social media concerts and live streaming, is that something which you've thought about as a band?
Yeah, we did do it. Well, it wasn't a live stream. It was some sort of festival back in 2020. I think it was in the summer, and it was actually a bit of a pain in the ass for us to put together, because at the last minute, the organisers turned around and said, they were having problems with the live streams. So could we pre-record the set? So okay, and it kind of put us off live streaming, because I liken it to you show up to a gig, and you've got to do the sound engineering yourself, you've got to do the lighting yourself, and sound check yourselves and do everything as a band, which when you do a normal live gig in a venue, you don't do any of that. You, as the band, you just play. And that's what that one was like. We have done another live stream, I think it was in November last year, and that was completely different. So we did just kind of show up, we sound checked, and it was streamed, and I was actually surprised at how good it was and how good the sound quality was on the other end. And there is a plan to do that again. And we'll probably make more of a song and dance now that we know that the streaming quality and the sound quality and everything is as good as it was. So there is plans. We have done a couple. We are planning to do more. We do have some live streaming stuff coming out that aren't actually gigs. So Joey's doing this thing, which is kind of like it's like a comedy thing. He's always been the one in the band that wears more makeup than everyone else. So me and Dan will slap the eyeliner on, whereas Joe will turn up full face of everything and kind of puts us to shame. So we've got this like makeup comedy kind of thing going on, which is, I think it's going to start next week. What's he calling it? Kiss and Makeup Mondays. So that's coming out, and there'll be like makeup tips, but done in a kind of tongue-in-cheek way. And then I'm going to be doing a sort of jam stroke Q&A thing that we haven't decided what the name will be for it. We may get the fans to pick the name, to be honest. And it will be kind of really unstructured, anywhere between half an hour and an hour of literally just people asking me stuff and me either jamming or playing riffs and licks from solos and what have you online. But we've had loads of people asking if we would do that sort of stuff. I really didn't think that people would want to watch me just I don't know, messing around really.
Yeah.
But apparently they do. So
Yeah, it's surprising.
yeah,
It's,
yeah, I suppose it's true. I mean, if someone like Steve Vai was doing a live stream and just ask them questions and I'll noodle around, then but I don't sort of put myself in that category. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. So that's due to kick off in the next week or two. And in fact, we have already announced, I think, Joey's thing. I think that's either starting on Monday or next Monday. And then, we'll kind of see where that goes. And in the meantime, we're still doing the getting the album together, and we'll get back in the rehearsal studios again. And hopefully the sort of trajectory out of lockdown will continue as it's going at the moment. And, we'll get lucky and we will do some of those gigs and we will do live events again, and it will all be good. And we'll look back and go, that was shit, wasn't it? But yeah.
It's surprising because I interviewed When Rivers Meet the other day. And
they do a lot of live streaming, don't they?
Yeah, I was shocked that I've been doing it like for a 12-month, and all it is just them in a room just playing live and answering questions. And I watched it the other day because what I do, because there's been no gigs on the website, I've been doing a thing called Social Live. So like bands like When Rivers Meet, Gwar even did a social concert. They're brilliant, funny as hell. Oh, you should check them up on YouTube. Oh, hilarious. And tons of other bands and all that, like Those Damn Crows. They did a concert out in Germany. And so I review all that. I call it now Social Live. So it could be anything. So if an artist is doing an acoustic set, just on in his room talking and all that, I review it and put it up. But then when it comes to this year now is our second year where we are doing music and film awards and all that. And we try to bring people in so that bands, to give them an opportunity, because by them winning an award, it also brings other fans to listening to the music.
Yeah.
And the one thing about it is that with these awards, the band last year's was fantastic because people were just getting involved. The fans were getting involved and wanting their band to win the award and all that, and it was brilliant. And this is the second year doing it, and so that's one of the things, the social life. So when people are, like I say, they sitting there with a guitar playing in front, as long as they like not the when I say a signed band, but a prominent band, not just like somebody who's just sat there. But it's it is something which it's helped musicians to have a bit of fun. So that's starting again next month. I can't wait.
Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, no, you mentioned When Rivers Meet. I did the same thing. Went on to see, well, what are they doing? Like, because they post stuff every day. I think they do live streams like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, what material are you using? What are you doing? I mean, is it always the same kind of thing? And I watched a couple of them, and I went back and looked at some of the old ones that they'd done because the recordings are still there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess people do want to see the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Yeah, I suppose we as a band don't sort of see ourselves in the same way as fans sometimes do. You're kind of in it, so you kind of, by the time you come out with a song song gets out into the public domain, we're usually already sick of it, because it's we even before we went into the studio to record it, it was rehearsed to hell, So
yeah,
you sometimes, I think, being in a band, you kind of maybe forget that sometimes, because whilst you're going, oh, not that song again, someone else is hearing it for the first time, and I think that's maybe the bit that you forget, and that some bands like When Rivers Meet are kind of tuned into that. I think that
definitely.
That they are playing the same thing as they did, I know, a week or two ago, but the fans want to hear it again, and want to interact with them. We kind of, I don't know, you just kind of assume that people don't want to do it, but when you see other people doing it, and the number of, I mean, they get thousands logging on, don't they?
I watched it. The one which I reviewed, there was about 600 people watching it, and and the amount of tips which were going in, so that they were making a day's living off that event, and I just think, wow, that's something which they've got down to a T.
They have got all of that nailed, haven't they? But I think Grace, I think I read or heard that she did a marketing degree, so she's kind of clued up on that whole thing. She's got a little leg up on the rest of us, What they do and copy, I think, is the word to the wise.
It was when I interviewed them. They were the first time I interviewed them on Zoom. I'm very, very new to Zoom, so done a full interview and realised that they didn't record. So we had to rearrange and do the interview again. And one of the things which they were telling me is, when they were out on tour, they were touring in a camper van. And that was just it. It was just the pair of them in a camper van. And I was thinking, wow, that's like a dream to some people.
Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? To some people, I would hate it, but
yeah, but just to pull up and go, I'm going to do a gig, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's I know. It's I suppose they got the advantage that they're both together all the time and all that sort of stuff. I mean, if you're a band, you lived in the same house, it might be easier. If me, Dan, and Joey all lived in the same house, it'd be easier. But
I was asking them how it worked with the drummer because they're married. I was like, did he sleep in the camper van, or was he like thrown outside in a tent?
Oh, they took a drummer with them then?
On some of them they did, yeah.
It
was, quite a strange little. I was thinking, right, how does that work? So like you all crammed in a camper van.
Be careful which laybys they pull up,
Before I let you go, have you got any upcoming news? Have you got any festivals planned?
The only one I know about so far is the Hard Rock Hell in November, which we were booked on the ones that got cancelled. So we're rebooked for that. And obviously our record label are associated with Hard Rock Hell as well. So that's the only thing I know. And if I was a betting man, I'd say that probably will go ahead in November. We've got one other gig in. I've just remembered where the one in July is July the 25th, I think it is, at the Hope and Anchor in Islington in London. I hope that will go ahead. I mean, there is enough time, isn't there, between now and then for vaccinations to ramp up. I don't know. I really hope it does go well, and it's not like marketing for a whole tour where you have to cancel the whole tour. It's just one day, then it's no skin off our nose, but it'd be really cool. It'd be weird to actually get on any stage anywhere for the first time in over a year. It would be bizarre. It almost feel like doing your first gig again.
Well, I was going to say, like, you probably got all the nerves going back on it, thinking, "Oh my God,
Can I still know how to do this?"
yeah." But
It might be like riding a bike where you never forget. Who knows?
well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. It's a pleasure to speak to you, and I can't wait for the new album to come out. Hopefully, it'll be coming out January.
I hope so. I mean, I'd personally like, if I had my way, you know, I'd kind of release it at the end of the summer when we finish it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that from experience and knowing how record labels work, that's probably what will happen.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. They might go, no, let's release it straight away. So
Yeah.
I think that will be the latest date, hopefully before, but who knows? You know, we're at the mercy of schedules and all the other stuff. I think we've all learned not to bank on anything, really, haven't we?
Yeah. I just I've been waiting to. I had 2 concerts, which I was like, they can't be going ahead. Why haven't they rescheduled? One of them is the Pussycat Dolls, so I'm going up to meet them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm going to be photographing the concert, so it's and I get to meet them. And the other one was Joanne Shaw Taylor, and
oh yeah,
that's been good God. 3 times that's been postponed, that concert.
I haven't heard her album yet, but her album's got like loads of really, really good reviews, haven't they? It's like it's bluesy blue of the blues albums.
Yeah. She, her and Samantha Fish, she was one of the last concerts last year, which was the concert just before Louise Redknapp's, and it was brilliant. But I remember I was there photographing, and this woman turned around and said, "Oh, I'm going. This is not what I was expecting." I was thinking, "Hang on, what do you mean it's not what you were expecting? Surely you would have listened to bloody Samantha Fish before you go and buy tickets." And
you'd assume so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
But it was nothing wrong with the concert.
And maybe they were just so excited that they could go to a gig that they just thought, "Sod it, I'll buy tickets."
Yeah, it was a strange one. I was looking at her thinking, "What the hell, stupid woman." Well, at the end of the day, Samantha Fish gained the ticket, so she gained money from our ticket.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been fantastic speaking to you, and good luck, and hopefully we can get to see you on tour very soon.
I hope so. Yeah, can't come soon enough, to be honest. But yeah, good.
Yeah, well, it's been brilliant speaking to you, and take care, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers, bye.